Okay, so I don't know what's happening up top here. Maybe it's the sun. I haven't felt this time of day in a while. Um, but yeah, this is number two in Hot and Hippie's challenge. And unfortunately, this might be another slow one because I'm about to head out. Still not feeling well. Gonna get looked at. Yeah. Number two is a back to school. That's it. Okay. A back to school horror movie. She chose Urban Legend. I chose. Look at that, Urban Legend. Because it was a classic. Like I've been watching it since 1998. Okay. Um. Yeah, of course, I have the full collection here. Yeah. Which yes includes the stupid third movie. Whatever. I just think it's funny that one of the legends they talk about is Bloody Mary, and then Urban Legends 3 is just dedicated to her. That's a whole. Um, I've been thinking about it because I love the sequel so much. Final Cut, for sure, I'm doing that. Um, just cause like it won't be a part of this challenge, but I'm doing that. Urban Legend, so it's Jared Leto, Michael Rosenbaum, Joker, and Lex Luthor, Rebecca Gayheart, um, Tara Reid, and I can never remember the lead's name. Alicia Witt, yeah, Alicia Witt. I know she is. Like I like her music. It's because I heard it. I like piano rock. So, but yeah. Oh, and the blonde dude. Who was that? Joshua Jackson. Yeah. Okay. Um. Basically, these college kids are being murdered off, one by one, via an urban legend. Like the opening is killer in the backseat, and every time it's done beautifully. Brad Dorff, and there are plenty of guest appearances, special appearances, and that's how they should be done. I'll get to one in a second. Anyway, Brad Dorff as the gas station attendant trying to warn the girl that we're getting about the killer in the backseat, but small problem, he's kind of creepy himself. And so she hits him and runs off, only for the killer to finish her off. Yeah. Um, and that kicks off the rest of the whole movie and everything. Um, I'll say this, like Robert Englund's in it too. And when I saw this in '98, I was very into Freddy. Like I didn't know anything about his gun in the holster stance he was doing throughout the movie or any of his isms, like there are or not. I didn't know about that. As a fan now, I love that. And he's the Professor Wexler. And then you got, I can't remember his name, but if you've seen Cube, he's the first dude you see in Cube. And he is the perfect red herring in this movie. He's the janitor dude in this movie. And this was one thing, this, at least these first two movies do pretty well. That Scream tried but doesn't, is red herrings. So Scream, at least for me, most of those movies I instantly got who it was. They got ridiculous. You saw my Scream 6 review. Urban Legend, first time I saw this movie, the red herrings got me. Brad Dorff got me. You know, he got arrested. Then the janitor dude, not Wexler. We have a third guest appearance, Danielle Harris, as the goth roommate of Alicia Witt, who is horny and possibly depressed, and it leads to easily my favorite murder of the whole franchise. It really did. Like, how do I explain it on YouTube? So there's this running thing that Alicia Witt keeps showing up by her friends in the throes of passing. One night she shows up thinking it's that, and nah, she's being like murdered by the killer who like it's a sort of commentary about chat rooms. Those were a big thing back then, and pretty much instantly they became not great places. So I think it was a commentary on that because he's talking to somebody in the chat room like, "Where were you in? Sea Leagues to come back? Yours, now caps." And then he starts murdering Danielle Harris, and that's how you do a special appearance, okay? I can resurrect him with James, like not even with John Patrick Thomas and not Jamie Lee Curtis, but they put her through. Anyway, but yeah, and I like Joshua Jackson's with the boyfriend getting murdered like on top of the car. I don't know if I can say the word on YouTube. That was pretty clever, and I just like the lead up to it. Like, why I start a date with him if he sees right through his shit like the rest of us? I was like, that she calls him out on him and she like hits him. And she's like, one black guy or two, take me home. I'm like, damn. Yeah. Uh, does the dog die? Yes, it does. They microwave a dog because the old lady who accidentally microwaved her dog. That legend. Also, I'm a massive fan of urban legends since I was a teenager, which only made me like this movie and its sequel even more. Third one, okay. And the most recent one I got was through an email about the one where certain parts on a lady are infested with worms and they send pictures. It's disgusting. But yeah, I do love urban legends. I used to watch the show Urban Legends. They're to give you 3 urban legends. 1 to 2 of them were true. You had to guess. It's like Beyond Belief, but without Jonathan Frakes to like talk shit at you. And they're based on urban legends. Well, so is Beyond Belief. But yeah, it's like Beyond Belief. Uh, so yeah, this last only gets better with me, just like Scream does. I'm gonna go through every kill, just the ones of note, like Tara Reid. People who say Tara Reid can't act, like she's made some choices later on in her career. I grew to like the Sharknado movies. That one was she was like that Australian movie she did, was she played this Australian girl. She can't do accents. She That's not her thing. But you watch Urban Legend, that's my go-to. Tara Reid can't act. Watch Urban Legend, specifically the radio scene, not the first one where she's simulating orally pleasing her microphone. I just did it. I'm still an accident, but that's what she was doing, but more suggestive on her mark. No, I mean the other radio scene where the killer shows up. You think she can't act? Watch that scene. Also, somebody said during that scene, it's to commemorate. Oh, the story is like 20 years earlier there was a massacre, and now it's happening again in Wexler. Robert Englund is supposed to be framed. It was for scapegoat bullshit. But yeah, and somebody says she's doing this performance piece to commemorate the murders. That sounds all kinds of disrespectful, like all kind of like just nightmares for the school. Like I remember an episode of Working Moms that they were going to do something similar. It's about like a PR firm. Can't stand PR, but I love that show. And they were going to do that, but I was like, that is so mildly offensive, and you will be so deep in lawsuits and HR, like they're supposed to be, and so they didn't do it. Like, yeah, like, come on, no. Also, like, this is often called a Scream clone. I mean, yes, okay, it stars Rebecca Gayheart, who's in Scream 2. Beyond that, and also a scene I noticed this viewing, I never noticed before. There's a scene in Scream, the first movie, but they're in the video store, and Randy's like, Billy Loomis has the killer printed all over his forehead. In this movie, quite literally, the killer has it printed all over their forehead. I never noticed that until this viewing. But beyond that, not really. Excuse me. I mean, there's one more scene where the killer makes a phone call. And I like the attention to detail because it's a modulated voice, obviously, but it's a woman, very obviously. And like slight spoilers, is one of the girls. Like the movie tells you pretty blatantly. Like if you have the eyesight and speak whatever language that is on their college logo insignia, what have you, that tells you, if translated, exactly who the killer is. So that's pretty clever. But yeah, so like that detail, like if Ghostface, they all sound like Roger L. Jackson because he's doing that for like all the movies in season 3 or so. I like that detail. Don't really care for Jared Leto in this movie. He's like the reporter dude that 2 of these 3 girls are into. Well, really one of them. The other one was playing him the whole time, but whatever. I don't hate Jared Leto. A lot of people do, especially after a certain performance, but I don't. But this performance has never done it for me. I don't know. Rebecca Gayheart, I can't really. this movie's 25 years old. I'm not gonna. I like what she does in the movie. I do. At times, it's quite comical for me. Like every single time, a certain scene is still very comical for me. Yeah, it really is. Alicia Witt, she plays basically, if you're old enough to remember, the same character she played on Sybil, but now in college, they start living with her mother. The same kind of smart aleck, strong. I'll say mean. Like there's another harsher word that I don't use against Butler, but like that. Like when she turns down Joshua Jackson, he says, "You don't have to be such a female dog about it," and she like embraces that. Basically the same character from Sybil. Yeah. Oh no, she was doing those characters back in the 90s. And I like her just fine. The urban legends they do, like the urban legends, the murders they use. Even more so in the sequel, like this one they teased at the end when the all's been revealed, like the kidney being removed. But they actually do that in the sequel. So, instead it's just like some kind of torture. Yeah, no, this was like again, my favorite kill is Daniel Harris when he writes, "Aren't you glad you didn't?" No, he said, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the lights?" Like, I just love that particular murder right there, man. I really do. I think it's done so well. They do the whole, if you're old enough to remember this before even my time, Mikey eats anything with the Pop Rocks and the Coke or the Pepsi in this movie. There are videos on YouTube that shows you exactly what happens if you do that. Like, bottles flying all over the place, some exploding. Admittedly, I did that. Like, now with Pop Rocks with Mentos, would not advise. Would not, like, I don't like the feeling in my mouth. I don't like it. Yeah. And then they do, and then they play Love Roller Coaster, which is an interesting fact. Another reason I chose to do this movie is we just found out that my young niece, can do the Mariah Carey high pitch thing. A quick break. Okay, so I'm back. A different shirt, different time of day. Because it went out and got looked at, and it was, well, that was an experience. Anyway, I'm all fucked up, medicated, tired. It's 3:10 in the morning, which is usually nothing for me, but again, I just went through a thing. So as I was saying, I'm gonna wrap this up quick. I was talking about Love Roller Coaster, which features in the movie because there's an urban legend about it. You can allegedly hear the motto on the cover being murdered in the song. Now the high pitched thing happens. No. It turns out that's like the lead singer of the Ohio Players doing his thing, for decades though. It was an urban legend. And like I was saying, I brought that up because we just found out my niece can do the Mariah Carey thing, but she is real high up. But then we also found out that my niece is like the great granddaughter of one of the Ohio Players. So there you go. She could always sing, but now she's doing that. And they actually reached out when they found out she was related, and they were real nice about it, real cool, from what I understand. So that's cool. There's musical stuff on our side too, but it's not just video. I don't like bragging. Anyway, so yeah, and one person I forgot to talk about was Loretta Devine. I'm so sorry. It's a side effect from the medicine. I'm itchy all over. So Loretta Devine is Reese, the security guard. Man, look, I always think like Loretta Devine is so good. But I'm glad she does slashers like this. I always thought she excelled in horror. She's great in drama, obviously, in comedy. Like, I've seen her be on sitcoms and be fine, but just too good for the sitcom. Like, everyone's bringing a certain level, like here. And the level she brings is all the way. That's a good thing, but it's like, damn, you can see the talent, the difference of talent. In this movie, it's kind of the same, but I like it. And she's obsessed with Foxy Brown. And this is a great movie. My favorite Pam Grier blaxploitation movie might be Bucktown. If you've seen it, you know why. Or Scream, Black of the Screen. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Reese is the security guard, and Elisa Witz always trying to tell her something's happening. Reese didn't believe in her. But this he kind of is. I don't know. And there's one kill that I always confuse with a movie called Ghost in the Machine. Ghost from the Machine. So much entirely. Ghost in the Machine. It's a 90s classic, underrated, and you may or may not be seeing it as far as these movies. But yeah, like with a dean who was a skeptic the whole time, but when he goes to his car, he checks the back of his seat twice. But you're a skeptic though. That's smart. But you're a skeptic though. And his murder scene is similar to when he goes in the machine. And I always mix them up. They have one more thing in common: Urban Legend and Ghost in the Machine. They're both R-rated, and I don't fully understand why Urban Legend. Okay, I mean it's mostly language, and in one scene, and again, the old lady who accidentally microwaves her dog. They microwave her dog. It's quite bloody. That's about it. When the killer's doing their thing, it's just cut away, or you only see it from like a certain angle, so you don't see any of the weapons penetrating. Ghost in the Machine. I mean, it's literal. And I remember one F-bomb. But then again, one of the murders is quite graphic and actually the same kind of way. So yeah. Again, this movie is, I could take any time of day, any state of mind. Clean, medicated. I could throw this on and be fine. That's all I have to say about Urban Legend. The soundtrack's great. I like the look of it. I love campus when it takes place on a campus. The movie, so I love that. Yeah. And again, for sure, I'm doing a sequel because I have to. And it's gonna be on my own thing, like not part of this. But yeah, that's all I have for Urban Legend. It is such a good slasher. Okay, it's a good whodunit. I'll try my hardest not to tell you who done it. But yeah, and the red herrings again, they've done great. Like it's one thing Scream kind of lacked in. Either it was blatantly obvious, or they kind of shot themselves in the foot, like with Cotton Weary and Scream 2. They instantly said he was the killer, but he's acting like he is. This movie legit had me. First time I saw it, like I didn't know who it was. And these red herrings, most of them were pretty good. Anyway, thank you for watching. Holy shit. Sorry, it's late again.